To give you a background, we went roughly 20% cuts from 2012 to where we are today. That means that a lot of these people have taken on additional responsibility, because when we took over in 2012, we had roughly an $8 million deficit. We had negative $15,000 for fund balance. We were downgraded by all three of the rating agencies, and there was very little that was going on. And I don't have to tell anybody here because you all lived it. You all understand it. So a lot of what has changed is the philosophy, how we look at the city, the passion we put into it, and what we deliver for our services. Because at the end of the day, the only thing we have to offer is service to people. That's the thing that makes us different than anybody else. We try to deliver the best possible service at the least possible cost. This year's budget, which doesn't carry a tax increase, but just so we're clear, the difference between last year's budget and this year's budget, if we did nothing, if we left last year's budget, was roughly $2.8 million more. What we did is we went to a zero-based budget. Our budget director, who is not here with us tonight, has been the architect. But a lot of the credit to where the city has come from to where we are today goes to Pete Ferrarillo. I'm very fortunate to have a great relationship with the Controller's office, to the point where this was a very, very difficult budget for reasons that go beyond the pennies and the nickels. Bill Morehouse and his crew did an outstanding job. And I just want to make sure, since I'm on TV and they're watching it, that we acknowledge the fact that, you know what, we have a lot of great things that are happening, and to your point, you can't do it unless you have good teamwork. We've been upgraded by all three of the rating agencies. We are upgraded by Fitch, 3 notches, which is basically uncalled for. No one ever has done that. Standard & Poor's, we went up for the first time in 30 years to an A. We went from a negative $15,000 in 2012, negative $15,000, to a $5.85 million fund balance. 5% of that is the people, the residents, in a referendum voted for that. And so we're clear about what a surplus is and what fund balance is. There's this misnomer now that you have a fund balance, you could go out and do all these different things, which is a misnomer. The reason why we've been upgraded, because we are no longer considered under New York State Comptroller's Office as a city financially stressed because of what we have done. A surplus is throughout the year. We have a budget, this year's budget, and we monitor it each and every week. Where the spending is, where the overtime is. There are so many variables out there that you need to have a fund balance in the event that you have to tap your resources and reserves. We haven't done it, and we're trying to continue to go at this point. But what I don't want to do is mislead people to the point where you feel we're out of the woods. Because our expenditures far outpace our revenues. Far outpace them. We have increased our revenues. We have done extremely well. Our tax base went up by roughly $8 million, which is the first time in over a decade that it has happened. But even with that increase, it's not enough to offset the medical, which went up $900,000, your pension cost, your salary line, and your lease purchases. So we're always fighting the fight, and I've always said we cut. In 2012, we made some major cuts. We cut police, we cut fire, we cut codes, we cut all the way down. We're bare bones. You look at Troy's budget, Schenectady's budget, and anybody comparable to us, no one is close to what the efficiency that we have. Nobody, what we deliver. Troy has roughly 50,000 people. We're roughly 63. Their budget is more than ours. When I talk about my department heads with pride, it's because they have done a great job. I looked at them and I said, you're not going to spend any more than you spent last year, and then we're going to cut. So we looked at what they spent over the last 3 years, and we made some cuts. It gets a little frustrating every single Tuesday when we have a meeting. I have to say to them, be careful what you're spending, be careful what you're doing, don't spend something that you don't have. If you really don't need it, don't buy it at this point, because you can only say that for so many years, which we have said it. 90% of our budget, 90% of our budget is contractual. I will tell anybody, look at our budget. Come in and dissect our budget and come up with something that we're hiding someplace. It's open, it's transparent, it's hard, but I think if you look at where we were in 2012 to where we are today, it speaks for itself. Downtown is alive and well. Is there difficult times in front of us and decisions we've made? Absolutely. We got to make it happen. We don't have one engine out there that is bringing in the revenue for us. We don't have a Syracuse University. We didn't have a Kodak or an IBM. We're making the best of what we have, and we're developing it, whether it be the harbor for tourism, potentially with the Nano, potentially of our hospital. And the way the Utica goes is how the Oneida County goes. Don't ever misunderstand the fact Utica is the engine to make it goes. People can move out, and they want to go to New Hartford or Whitesboro, Clinton, whatever it may be. Utica doesn't happen, it's not going to happen anyplace else.